That's a big statement.
Let me give you a hint. It varies in color from red to black. Mentioned in the description. Check it out. Want to know what I'm talking about? Then stay with me. What if I told you that your biggest business expense could drop by 20 to 40% tomorrow? Hi, I'm Avni. This is GP World, and today we're talking about the elephant in the room, or more precisely, in your business. Let me give you a hint. It varies in color from red to black. It's heavy, cumbersome, expensive, and prone to conflict, making it hard to come by. Yep, you guessed it. We're talking about your fuel, fossil fuel. If you're a manufacturing unit, hospitality business, or SME, then you're probably feeling this pain more than you like to admit it. With LPG prices rising and energy costs eating up to 30% of your operating budget. But the good news? Smarter businesses are switching to climate-smart fuels. Biomass briquettes offer stable pricing, lower emissions, and easier compliance with tightening pollution norms. And by the end of this video, you're going to be asking yourself why you're still paying so much for fuel. Urban homes generate over 150,000 tons of waste every day, both dry and wet. In fact, more than 50 to 60% urban waste in India is organic, most of it coming straight from our kitchens. But when this waste is dumped in landfills, it doesn't just disappear. It releases methane, a greenhouse gas that leads directly to climate change. So what are we really lacking? Resources, responsibility, or maybe a revolution? Curious? Want to know what I'm talking about? Then stay with me. Meet Firdosh Roowalla, founder of the Green Thumb India. For over a decade, he's been working on one simple idea, that waste doesn't need to be thrown away. It can be managed, right where it is created. Through the Green Thumb India, his team works with homes, housing societies, and communities to manage everyday kitchen waste in a cleaner, more practical way. Because the real solution isn't just managing waste, it's closing the loop. And he's doing that by turning the city's waste into clean, reliable, efficient fuel. Hi Firdosh, thank you so much for having us here.
Yes.
This is so exciting what you're doing here, and it's just been such a fabulous day watching all this work in progress. Tell us more.
First of all, I thank Green Pistachio and your whole team for coming over, covering this story. I started my journey 15 years back into waste management, and first I started with the composting process very slowly. And then over the years I grew because I wanted to innovate into a method or a product which is more suitable and viable for recycling as such. So that is how this biomass briquetting came into my mind, and we worked on it, and today it's here, you all are covering it, and I'm very happy that we are going to launch it as a product to many people who are looking for solutions on waste management as a product which is right now a good alternative for a good fuel source and a solution for many maybe gram panchayats or wards who are looking to try and solve the problem of wet waste recycling.
Right, so you're using urban waste here to convert into energy, a fuel that can be used by businesses.
By businesses, yes. So it is generated by somebody else, but the end product may be used by somebody else, but it gets circulated in a right way, doesn't go to the landfill or doesn't go to any other area which may be land bodies or water bodies. So this is how the whole wet waste can be recycled.
Amazing. So walk us through the process, please.
So the process basically is what the wet waste is collected. The idea first is that we try and reduce the volume of that waste. So shredding and dewatering becomes a very important part. By dewatering the wet waste, we are kind of squeezing out all the unwanted water and the oil. And once this dewatered waste comes out, then we pass it to something called as a briquetting machine. And then that briquetting machine has an extruder from which the briquettes come out. So there are two byproducts of this. One is the briquette that comes out of the dewatered waste, and the second is this slurry, which is also a very good potential to be used either to be make it into pellets or a very high potential to be made into a liquid organic fertilizer. So now my next stage is where I'm working on trying to convert this slurry now into a liquid organic fertilizer.
So a lot of people, from what I've known so far, most people make biofuels, or the known biofuels in the
Yes.
industry are made from agricultural
Yes.
waste, farm waste, even sometimes forest waste.
Yes.
Where did this idea of turning urban waste, kitchen waste, into a biofuel come from?
The idea started because of the end product. So end product is a biofuel, and there's always demand for energy world over, whether you make it from any source. So energy will always be in demand, and in future or today. So that's why the idea struck that if I can convert organic waste into a biomass briquette, and which can be sold as a fuel, then it may change the whole way waste is recycled.
Absolutely, and it changes the way we look at waste now.
Yes, yes.
Right? Because we're only thinking about waste as something that we just want to get rid of, we want to throw it away,
Yes.
we want it taken away.
Correct.
But it's never really taken away, is it?
No.
It just goes to the landfill and it...
Right now it goes to
emits.
landfill, it goes to the water bodies, many other places, or all our nalas and canals are filled with all kinds of waste.
Actually, there's two things that I want to know. The first one is, how is this helping the environment? What is it doing for emissions?
Emissions is a very clear thing that, see, environment, one is if you take it into a category of the waste that is being collected is by the municipal corporation. So they have to go door to door, collect this waste, and then try and segregate it and try and process it. Now the corporation is not able to do this because they can't process 1,000 or 2,000 or 10,000 tons of waste per day. So that's where private people will come in and they will start doing the collection. So one way how the environmental protection happens is the cost of logistics reduces.
And the emissions from
And the
whole
emissions for just
transportation.
collecting waste is so high, you forget recycling, just the emission of collecting this waste.
And this process can also be decentralized so that
So
you have
ideally,
it in-
yes. So ideally have it in many pockets. Have private operators who will do the collection and also do the recycling part. So the load on the taxpayer money for the municipal corporation goes down. The cost of sitting and collecting this from lakhs of houses on a daily basis goes down. And then the last part is where the landfill comes in, where it is said that landfills are supposed to be scientific, things like that. But then they have to go and put it somewhere. Ultimately, it becomes a landfill. So methane gas emissions or leachate coming out from the waste goes into the groundwater. And we have Devachi Urli as a prime example in Pune, where the residents have been complaining since many years because their groundwater is totally corrupt.
So this stops that from happening and keeps our water bodies and our air cleaner.
Yes, that is the ultimate goal that will happen when people start seeing that waste is no more a waste, it's a resource.
Great. The other thing that I want to know is how is it beneficial in terms of cost, fuel cost, to businesses who use this as an alternative fuel?
It should be a very big benefit because see the conventional fuel cost, like if let's say I'm running a factory which is having a diesel boiler, diesel anyway is above 120 rupees a liter. Even
and you never know where it's going.
Yes, exactly. And even if I'm running on have an electric boiler, again it's a high cost. So biomass briquette boilers are now coming into the market. The manufacturers of boilers are now starting to focus on boilers which will be run by biomass. Because again, as you mentioned, it clears the ESG compliance. So ESG compliance is very mandatory for people who are exporting their end products. So the customers will ask you that have you made this product using these ESG norms. So that is why biomass boilers, biomass briquettes or biomass any product which is supposed to be from a raw material will always have a long-term demand and a very good environmental impact.
And cost benefits as
and
well.
cost benefits as well.
Amazing. So not only is it helping emissions by taking the waste out of landfills and stopping leachate from entering our water,
Yes.
but it's also replacing fossil fuels. So now probably the most important question from the point of view of businesses wanting to adopt this as an alternative fuel. If someone wants to change over, say from their existing systems, what is it going to take? Are they going to need to have to do an entire overhaul of their systems, of their processes, of their operations?
In the boiler sense, yes, maybe, because if they bought a boiler which is an electric boiler, they won't be able to change it. But there are many businesses which already have biomass boilers, where they have been using biomass briquettes of different type of materials.
Like wood chips
wood
or
chips
charcoal?
or charcoal or sawdust, this rice husk pellets. So now this alternative is there where they can use municipal solid waste, also biomass briquettes.
So how are these briquettes better than those?
So it is better because the source of the raw material is itself a problem. That people don't know where to put this urban wet waste that is coming in. So this is the biggest advantage I have, where I made a product from a problem to a solution.
Got it. So from waste to wealth,
Yes.
literally. So what you're saying is that anyone who uses existing biomass or biofuel
Yes.
can switch over to this directly without having
There's
to
no
make
problem.
any changes in
No,
their business.
Because
Can you-
see, biomass briquettes ideally have a calorific value, that is the capacity to burn.
and this is the same as the
It is
others.
the same. Rather, we got a very good calorific value of 4,000 kilocalories per kg, which is at par with any other biomass briquette that is being made in the market.
And how does it compare to other like fossil fuels?
Fossil fuels definitely have a very high calorific value, but then they come with their disadvantages of gas
course.
emissions and cost.
Correct.
So ideally, if the objective is to heat a particular raw material at a given temperature, the biomass briquette will achieve your target. So whether you use diesel, which you are happy without ESG compliance, or you use a biomass briquette and do ESG compliance, so that choice is on the customer. But always take the right choice of using the good
Of
raw
course,
material.
aren't we all trying to do our very best to
Yes.
make our lives, our businesses, our entire processes more sustainable? So
Yes.
this is like the easiest and simplest solution that solves not just one but two problems. This is brilliant. This is
Yes.
such a genius yet simple solution. I mean, I don't think even looking at it, smelling it, touching it feels like it came from something that we consider so dirty,
Yes.
and that has the potential to be so dirty if left unattended or unmanaged, right?
Exactly, yes.
So this is brilliant.
Thank
Congratulations
you very
on
much.
this, and
Yes.
we hope that a lot of people switch to this fuel for
Yes.
their businesses, for their domestic needs, and wherever else that it's applicable. Tell me, for these people who are looking for this, where can they find it and how can they reach
They
you?
can contact us through our website, greenthumbindia.com.
Mentioned in the description.
Mentioned
Check
in the
it out.
description. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, great, lovely. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Firdosh, for hosting us
Yes.
once again. And most of all, thank you for making this brilliant solution.
You're most
It is
welcome.
truly something that the world has been waiting for.
Yes, thank you. That's a big statement.
Well, why not? So if your fuel is costing you more than it should, maybe it's time to rethink what you're burning. Because the smartest businesses today aren't just cutting costs, they're future-proofing how they operate. And if you're curious about switching to biomass briquettes, drop a comment and we'll tell you exactly where to start. Until next time, stay smart, stay sustainable.